Part of that move was the situation in Argentina, and part of the move is also because we wanted to make the move. It's a combination of things, but no question, Argentina was very bad at that time. We had the hyperinflation, a real hyperinflation. The bank froze all your money that you have on the bank. That's why, I mean, we learned the hard way. The money that you have on the bank, first of all, it's not your money, it's not on the bank, and it's not money. So the environment was very, very difficult. And Argentina I grew up permanently in trouble in Argentina, totalitarian governments, military governments, hyperinflation, missing people, a lot of crises, one after the other. And the last one was that when they took all your money from the bank, we said at that time, okay, we have to do something. I mean, we have to prevent these to happening again to us. And I think that was the spark that brought the movement.
I hope you enjoy the show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Bitcoin for Family show, where every guest is your new BFF. That's your Bitcoin friend forever. I'm Scott from Shamray. It's an honor to have you here once again. Thanks to everyone that's been watching, listening, sharing. I hope you're finding the show fun and educational. And if you're really feeling generous, go ahead and drop a review in there. Every little bit helps in spreading the word to other Bitcoin families. Now, on to this week's episode. I'm very excited to welcome some of our best friends in the Bitcoin business, Panties for Bitcoin family. Welcome Pablo and Michael to the show. How are you guys doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having us. Pleasure and an honor to be here.
No, glad to have you guys and have your whole family, getting to know you guys over the past, I was trying to do the math. I think it's been over 3 years now since we first got set up together. So always fun to see each other in person at the different conferences and get to know the whole families every time we go. Well, before we get started with some of the questions, maybe kind of give the landscape for everybody of kind of who are those family members that are out there. Obviously, we have Pablo. You're the father, Michael. You're one of the sons, but who else is part of the Bitcoin for Panties team?
Well, we have Jeremy, my middle son. We have Sik, my youngest, and Sylvia, my wife.
Yes, and for those that have seen everybody at the conferences, it is a team effort when you're setting up there. So I'm sure people have seen those smiling faces, whether it's in Vegas or in Canada or some other stops around the North America here. Well, perfect. Then let's dive into some of these. We got some fun icebreakers to maybe let people get to know you a little bit better. First off, for those that don't know, Pablo's originally from Argentina. And so if our families were together in Argentina, where would be the first place you took us and what would be the first meal?
Well, of course, it's in Buenos Aires, the capital city of Argentina. And no question, the first meal that you're going to have over there is going to be beef. It's going to be what we call in Spanish a parrillada, which is going to be a lot of different type of parts of the cow, which is going to be fantastic. Yes, that's where I'm going to take you first to have supper.
Sounds delicious to me. I know Mallory would enjoy that as well. And so hopefully we can at one point make that a reality, because we've never been to Argentina, but it's definitely on the
well, definitely a place to go and to visit. You can have an amazing time for sure.
Perfect. Question number 2, simple, sticking kind of with the travel theme. If you guys could travel anywhere in the world for a Bitcoin conference, whether there's one there or not already, so you can make it up, where would you go? Is there a dream spot for a conference location?
Well, from what we have seen so far, we would love to go to Madeira, to the conference in Madeira. I think the next one is in 2028. I hope we can make it, and you too.
Yes, no, that's definitely on our list. The last one got sidetracked by Zoe coming into our life a few months before, but
I remember.
It's definitely in the back of our heads, 2028, to be there with Andre and his awesome team. Looks like a beautiful spot. So yes, co-sign that one.
Also Prague. Prague also would be on the list. Absolutely.
Yep. No, Prague looks like a great one too. Next up, you guys are big soccer fans. So if you were on a soccer team, would you rather be the worst player on a winning team or the best player on a losing team?
Absolutely. For me, myself, I don't know, Michael, but I will be the worst player in the winner team for sure.
Percent. I think you get to grow doing that. So for sure, challenge yourself and go learn from everybody else in a good team.
I co-signed with that one as well. Definitely want to enjoy that it's a team game for a reason. It's not tennis or golf or something. You want to to win together.
Absolutely.
Okay, last one here. For anybody in your family, does anybody have an unexpected talent that surprises people when they hear about it?
No, we are the what they call the normal people, the common people, let's say. No, we don't have any. We have to work hard for everything we want to achieve. We have to work hard. Nothing comes like no.
Yeah.
Normal,
Well,
normal.
I'd say your talent is creating very comfortable and high quality garments. So there's the talent that everybody knows about. Perfect. Well,
Thank you.
that was fun going down that path. Now we can kind of dive deeper into who you guys are. And so we mentioned Pablo, you're from Argentina, excuse me. But maybe just from a high level, how did you and Sylvia originally meet, and kind of what drew you guys together back in the day?
Well, we been already married for almost 27. No, you're 25.
Yeah, I'm turning 25.
So we are 26, 27 years together. We met in Buenos Aires. All our kids also born in Argentina, in Buenos Aires. But we didn't work together at the time in Argentina. So when we start with this Bitcoin project, we start working most of the time together. But in Argentina, I was already manufacturing underwear, and Silvia was working in the insurance field at the time.
Got it. And those early days, was it a love at first sight type thing, or did Sylvia make you do the hard work to try to?
And that's always hard. It's always work till today. It's always a hard work. Nothing comes easy here.
Perfect. Well, you picked the right one there from getting to know Sylvia. That's awesome. And Michael, so you were born in Argentina, but you were like 5 or 6 when you left. Somewhere around there. Is that correct?
I was 7. I had done half of grade 2 in Argentina, and then moved here to restart grade 2.
So how much of that memory do you still have from those ages and growing up?
I mean, some memories you have engraved, like similar to what you would have here, like growing up. Maybe the first time to a stadium, or the first few things that sort of you get from growing up, and then a lot of the stuff that I normally would have experienced there, I experienced here. Started high school and then university all. The second part of the childhood was all done here, and we all got to experience it together for the first time. So that was a lot of fun to be here.
Do you remember when your parents told you guys that you're going to make the move and what that was like?
Yeah, I think I didn't really grasp it at the time. I was like, oh, we're just like, it's going to be a change. I remember where I was and sort of my reaction. It was a shock, because no way to see it coming when you're 7 years old, and the next big problem is that I have school on Monday. But no, I remember where I was and what that was like. And then after a while, it's tough to leave your entire family, what you were growing up with, and then as you grow up, you appreciate it more and more.
Yeah, exactly. Did you, because you have younger siblings, did you feel like you had to maybe lead by example with kind of going through that transition for them to kind of look up to keep things as normal as possible? Or how was that like?
I think in a way, my youngest brother wasn't even a year old at the time, so he grew up completely here in a way and didn't really have that. And my middle brother was also quite young, so there wasn't as much attaching them to. I think, like I said, it's sort of getting to experience everything for the first time here all together. Like, it wasn't like my parents had already gone to university here, so we knew the process. It was everybody sort of beginning to find out about the process together. And similarly to any other kind of milestone or things like that, it was everybody gets to experience it together for the first time, as opposed to having someone to tell you like, oh, I did this and legacy here, or alma mater. It was very much just like, let's figure it out. We have to apply by this day. The day would come and it's like we're 5 days before, and I'm like, okay, I actually have to get this done and sort of figure it out, and then come up with a review so everybody that comes after can have that guideline. But thankfully both of my brothers have figured it out quite well as well, and they're very capable, thankfully.
Very nice. And Pablo, maybe for the people that don't know much about Argentina, or the kind of the reasoning behind making the move, are you able to share a little bit about kind of what went into that decision and why it happened?
Sure. I think it's part of that move was the situation in Argentina, and part of the move is also because we wanted to make the move. It's a combination of things, but no question, Argentina was very bad at that time. We had the hyperinflation, a real hyperinflation. The bank froze all your money that you have on the bank. That's why, I mean, we learned the hard way. The money that you have on the bank, first of all, is not your money. It's not on the bank, and it's not money. So the environment was very, very difficult. And Argentina was, I grew up permanently in trouble in Argentina, totalitarian governments, military governments, hyperinflation, missing people, a lot of crises, one after the other. And the last one was that when they took all your money from the bank, we said at that time, okay, we have to do something. I mean, we have to prevent these to happening again to us, and I think that was the spark that brought the movement. We were younger, a lot younger than now, and we have the strength and the being able to afford the risk to go to another country and try to succeed. So we took the risk, and here we are. I mean, no regrets.
Very nice. Do you remember what it was like, kind of leaving? You have an extended family down there. Telling them that you're going to do that. I assume that must have been hard.
It was very difficult. Yes, it was a difficult momentum, let's say, but it's that type of momentum that you can't look back. You can't. If you think too much, you don't do it. You have to just look forward, and thank God today with all the communications and the FaceTimes and traveling is not that difficult. So we've been in contact permanently, and we travel a lot to Argentina. Our family travel also here to Canada. But yes, I will say that trip from your house to the airport, the last one, that's something. It was very, very difficult, yes. But at the moment, you don't realize too much about the significance of the moment. And along the way, across the years, that you start, when you look back and say, wow, how we made it.
Yep.
Yeah.
By sheer will and perseverance and making the right choices. And has anybody else, you were the only ones leaving at that time, have any other family members made a permanent move with you guys since then, or has it just been more visiting back and forth?
In my side of the family, it's only us. On Sylvia's side of the family, she has a sister living in Paris, in France. Yeah.
Got it. And then kind of shifting gears slightly. So you, before Panties for Bitcoin, you had a 40-year work experience in the intimate apparel industry. How did that, come about? What was your background there that made that kind of be your passion?
Well, I'm an industrial engineer myself. When I was a kid, my father was working for another underwear company. So it was on the table all the time. It was on the family dinners and the conversation about, because my father was already working on that. And then my father decided when he was already quite not old, but later on life to open up his own shop, let's say. And I was working with him from the very beginning, together with my sister and my brother. And we continued the work. At the time, was just a small room with the 2-3 machines, and we made it a little bit bigger at the time. And we continue working on that all our lives, all of us.
That's awesome. I didn't know that part of the story. That really not only is Panties for Bitcoin a family business.
Yeah. It's I would say myself, I'm second generation, let's say, on the business.
That's really cool. And so kind of shifting gears. So you had kind of the fiat business pre all this, and then you shifted to Panties for Bitcoin. What was that, idea like? Where did that spark come from to be able to go down that path and diverge?
Well, I was already aware about Bitcoin 2016, 2017, not too much into it. I didn't understand very well, and didn't I was reading, I was listening, but doing nothing. 2018, I was very sick. That took me out of work for quite a period of time, and I took advantage to learn and read a lot more about Bitcoin at that time. One thing that brought these two couples of things that brought my attention. One was that famous pizzas for Bitcoin. And the other thing that brought my attention was Andreas Antonopoulos saying that the best way to get Bitcoins is to earn Bitcoins. So I said, how can I earn Bitcoins? Because I have my own business, and how can I make it? So I thought, okay, this was pizzas for Bitcoin. We are panties for Bitcoin. And without thinking too much, so we just move forward. So, okay, let's create a brand. We'll see what happens. We go to a conference, a couple of conferences, and we'll see the feedback of the people. And the feedback was amazing at that time. The help and the collaboration, the support of the community was amazing. And that's the way it started.
Very nice. And Michael, do you remember the first time your dad brought up the idea and what you thought in your head?
Yeah, I remember 2018, I think it was, that I was playing hockey still, and this had come up in a conversation driving to hockey together, and then we sort of I first started to look into Bitcoin, and like my dad and like many people did not really understand enough to make any information meaningful. So I sort of left it alone and didn't look as much as I should have into it, and then over time the idea grew more and more and the momentum started picking up, and then once at this point I was pretty involved in the company itself and getting things running, and then once we decided to go to, well, we had heard about the conference in 2020. Obviously, we didn't go at the time with everything that was going on, or 2021, the first Miami one. And then finally we said, okay, we're going to go in Miami in 2022. At the time, I was still in school. So, I took a few days off of school right before finals. I was like, okay, let's see. And, like my dad said, the feedback was great. Being there was great. The explanation is always a convoluted one, and getting people on board at first is always the first challenge. But after a while, and especially where we are now, the snowball effect has been great, and being involved is a lot of fun, and getting to see everybody again at these conferences is one of the best parts of it, for sure.
It definitely is. And being able to set up next to each other and have friends for life. And what was it like, Pablo, when you brought the idea to Sylvia? What was her thinking when you said you wanted to create this brand and see where it goes?
It was not easy to convince anybody here. I mean, starting from the Bitcoin itself, forget about Panties for Bitcoin, just Bitcoin along. It was a long way. It's not, took me a good couple of years and still today I'm pushing for more and more and mining and this and the node and the other thing and the other thing and let's go here, let's go there. No, at the beginning and even the Bitcoiners itself, what? I mean, and don't forget at the time was not common to have too many Bitcoin companies, not to mention Bitcoin treasury companies like today, but it was not common to have Bitcoin companies, not too many. I mean, and the few companies that you had at the time was either miners or software companies or yourself or us and a few more. And including like us, I mean, it was, yes, the regular print on demand. We stamp the Bitcoin logo and we make a t-shirt. But underwear, like a brand made specially, not print on demand, manufacture was almost nothing. And I'm not sure, but if I recall, the Lightning was just starting at the time. No, Scott, I don't remember exactly if we had Lightning at the 2022.
Yeah, we had, but we still, people were still learning to get familiar with. People are still to this day learning to get familiar with the whole process.
But it was not on the BTC Pay server, no?
Yes, I think we
was
very recently just installed it. People are still to this day learning, and there's always more. Even now, there's Liquid, and even as we still learning how to manage that and how to get it the latest and best technology to be working and functioning on the site. But yeah, at the time was just beginning to have the first Lightning transaction, because that was one of the criticisms at the time was the transaction was too slow, like it would take too long.
Too slow, and the channels, you have to put liquid on the channels, was not that easy as today. Oh, I mean, the experience was great. It was fantastic, and I still think it's every company must be a Bitcoin company. It's going to be natural. Once you find out the advantages to be on Bitcoin, I mean, as a person, as a company, as whatever, I mean, everybody has to be.
Everybody needs to go down that learning curve and go down that path their own way, but you are correct. And so for your garments themselves, part of the Bitcoin ethos in many cases is, Bitcoiners want not only fun things, but high quality things. Yes. They're not looking for the cheapness for the most part. And so you guys really focus on that. Your garments are manufactured in Italy, lending on your background. Maybe talk the audience through, how does that actually work? How are you verifying it? How are you getting that quality so that makes them last and then be so comfortable?
Yeah. Well, first of all, the process starts with the yarn. So we take the best possible quality yarn, the best design, the best way to dye the yarn if we have to dye, the best processes that are not harming the skin, and we are very careful not to use polyester. And hopefully in the future we're gonna add more different type of yarns, cotton, bamboo, I don't know, whatever. We are going slowly because we have the inventory ourselves. So it's an investment. Every time we produce a new item, a new color, a new style, we have to produce it. We have to make a stock and inventory in our warehouse. So we go slow, but quality, fit, design, top priority for us, especially it's, as we say, from Bitcoiners to Bitcoiners. I mean, has to be, for you to spend your Bitcoins, has to be a good reason for that. And very important to mention that we also, and we always offer 10% discount if you pay with Bitcoin in a way to promote the circular economies and justify that I am not going to spend my Bitcoin. You are not spending. You can spend and replace. If you have an incentive like a 10% discount when you pay with Bitcoin, just spend it and replace it.
Nope, you're spot on there. And how much of that did you learn from the quality side of things? I assumed a lot of that just simply came from your 40 years before this to know where to go and where to produce it and having channels that you already established. Is that correct?
Yeah. It's not that
Very nice.
I start to find out or look around when I start the Panties of It, I knew from before. Yes.
Yes. Get that experience in there. And, you mentioned, the benefit of being at these physical shows. What have been some of the more surprising reactions that you guys kind of take from them that kind of keep you going on a day-to-day basis when you hear the stories or the smiles on people's faces? What exactly is it that you guys take home from it?
I think that the best part is seeing people year over year. Obviously, the vendors and the friendships we've established, Shamri, BTC Cards, Crypto folks, all kinds of companies that we've gotten to see over the years, and the people, the attendees as well. You get to see people and they come by, oh, I bought last year, and the classical one up until we released the men's line was, oh, I bought for my girlfriend, I bought for my wife, I bought for someone at home, and then they come back, they're like, oh, I did great, I need more. And there's these funny stories where it's like the people that don't know see us and they ask, and we try to convey our story as best we can and get them to at the very least learn and open them to spending and how to transact in Bitcoin. And then once we established the men's line, it became like it's now I have to get for myself because we already know. And just these repeat situations where you get to meet all these other Bitcoiners, like-minded people that, share that mentality with you. That's the best part.
Makes complete sense. And, being a family business comes with its ups and downs. Maybe there's some people out there listening who have ideas together that they want to create. What have been some of the biggest challenges you guys have faced just kind of doing it as a family that you've been able to overcome, or maybe tips for people that are out there that have similar goals or aspirations?
Well, I think one of the challenges is we want all of us to be on the shows. I mean, we try to be together. It's not only that you enjoy the show and the Bitcoin conference, being there, it's just that we go as a family. So it's like a trip for us. We enjoy going supper with our friends or in between us, so it's a lot of fun. And sometimes we can't make it because they are Michael and Jeremy. They are having their own jobs. My youngest one is still at college. So it's tough to combine for all of us to be together traveling, and that's a challenge. And you want the whole family, like you are doing. I mean, it's fun to have all the family with you when you travel for a Bitcoin conference. And I hope to see a lot of more families involved.
Nope, for sure. That is 100% true, and we want to see those families keep growing. For Michael, how do you being the oldest and being at the shows and having your other siblings also be along, maybe how do you see yourself as kind of supporting everybody and kind of their roles as they, like you said, you have other jobs, but you're trying to support this company as well to help make it grow for the family?
Yeah, it's a nice juggling act across the board. When we started, it was school, and school is both easier and harder because if you have exams, you have exams. and you can't really negotiate that. But on the other hand, it came, we got lucky a few times, and it came at a time where I could travel, and so didn't really affect. And then after graduating and then finding jobs and stuff like that, then it becomes more of, okay, how does it line up with vacation time and things like that? And then on the other hand, it's you want to set the right example. You want to be there and support where you can. And there are challenges that I'll have compared to my friends that they won't have, and there are challenges compared to my brothers that they won't have just by virtue of being the oldest. But on the other hand, it's been a lot of fun. I got to travel with my dad a few times, even if it was just the two of us, then that, it gives us great bonding time outside of the conferences and things like that. And I get to have experiences that other people don't. And I've been very fortunate. And, in this case, my dad was also his oldest. So it's like very easy to find someone to relate and model after. So it's a great learning opportunity for sure.
Awesome. And another thing I know, being in Canada, there's so many awesome Canadian Bitcoiners out there like yourselves and other ones, but you guys get the benefit of going to a pretty healthy meetup fairly often. For those listening, maybe kind of tell the audience what is the Bitcoin Canadian culture like for in your area, and kind of how does it help you guys to keep being motivated to build?
Yeah, it's very strong. The Montreal meetup is the oldest Montreal in the world. We are very lucky that we have here companies like Bull Bitcoin. I would say we learn from the best. We had the fortune to share the time that Francis Pouliot was living here in Montreal, and he was regularly attending meetups or conferences. So it's very strong. It's very old, and we do meetups regularly, probably once a month. And there's a couple of companies, Montreal companies like us, Bull Bitcoin. Well, now it's in Alberta, but originally from Montreal, and Decentral, the mining company, Coinbeast, and other companies that help to keep the flame alive for the meetups. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's like meeting an old friend. And, as a Bitcoiner, sometimes it's difficult to talk and have a common ground with other people that are not Bitcoiners. So when you go to a meetup and you talk and you share time with Bitcoiners, it's amazing. And we have also there is Nolan, that is the Bitcoin Breakup show, that it's also helping us out emceeing or meetup. So we are really, really very fortunate of the community that was built up here in Montreal. Yeah.
Do you think there's a particular reason why, whether it's Montreal or Canada in general, that the culture there has been so, it seems like from the outside, open to embracing something like Bitcoin in a fairly large way?
I could not explain why Montreal or Canada. I don't know. We've seen what is happening in Canada across the last couple of years, but the Bitcoin community start to be created and build up even way before the COVID. So I don't know. Maybe it would just happen, coincident time and place and people that create that explosion. Let's say. Sometimes you don't know. I don't know. Somebody put us all together here, and somebody made us meet, and here we are.
Yeah, we got lucky in the sense that we had strong Bitcoiners in Montreal. Whether they were Bitcoiners or not at any given point wasn't that important. And then building off Bull Bitcoin, which today is a massive. You have Bull Bitcoin Canada, Bull Bitcoin here, Bull Bitcoin there, and just having them as a base, I think is a great launch pad for anyone. So I think that's a big boot. And like my dad said, you have the luck sort of that everybody got placed there. We moved from Buenos Aires, but we had to be here for that to make it work. Sometimes it's a little bit of luck.
Yeah. And I would say I wouldn't be able to create the business as I created without the help of the Bitcoin Montreal meetups, because I didn't know. I knew what I wanted, but I didn't know how to implement on the company. There was people that was able to help us out during the process.
Yeah, it takes a village.
It definitely takes a village. And then to your point, Pablo, there are so many people in the Bitcoin community who will help, even if you don't know them yet. So for those listening, if you have an idea, I've said it before, just, reach out to people
Yeah,
and ask questions, and whether it's in a
absolutely.
physical setting, yeah,
100%.
physical setting or sending DMs or whatever, you'll be surprised.
Yeah.
Um, no. And kind of shifting back to the family side of things, Michael, as you think about growing older, potentially having kids down the line, how do you think kind of your upgrading, starting in Argentina, shifting to Canada, having this company as a family company, how do you see that kind of shaping your view of kind of what you want for your future as you potentially grow a family down the line?
Yeah, I think I got to experience a lot of different realities and different experiences. Bitcoin, immigrate, sort of took a while to fit in anywhere. You weren't local here, but then you didn't end up being local there, and it takes quite some time to become adapted. So I think you learn how to adapt to anything, which is key. And then going forward, sort of you take the positive of Argentina and the positive of Canada and the positive of Bitcoin and the positive of everyone and all the experiences, and you try to shape up that way and to ensure that over the long term you can replicate these kinds of moments. I think that, a lot of the times, like, yeah, we go to a conference, but I'll still remember like the plane ride or what we were doing, in the airport after we crossed immigration and the time that this happened on our way to whatever, and just being able to spend so much time within a work setting and outside of a work setting with my parents, with my family as a whole.
Makes sense. Have being able to work with your mom and dad, giving you a new perspective on kind of the strengths and challenges they've had to go to.
That definitely, I think when we moved, I was quite young, so were my brothers. So you don't grasp. I remember being excited because there was like a massive toy store in Montreal at some point, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And then you don't really grasp not the gravity, but the extent of what it is that my parents were going through on their own. And then as I've grown up, you sort of realize all the challenges and things that they accepted to go through to get to this point. Then it definitely opens your eyes to all kinds of things, whether that's from a work standpoint or from a personal standpoint. It's weird, not weird, but let's say my parents want to go out for dinner, and now I'm 25, whatever, it doesn't matter. But when I was 13, it's not like they can just call grandma to come watch us, right? And so you realize how much that was sacrificed that I wouldn't realize it at 7, and I also wouldn't have realized it at 13. But when you get to 20s and older, you're like, wow, like there was things that you don't think about and that went into their head for the calculation. So you get to see a different perspective, definitely.
For sure. And Pablo, after you being a father for, 25 plus years, what are some of the more unexpected things that you didn't expect to come out of that, and seeing your kids grow up and become young adults, and anything that surprised you over those years that comes to mind?
But first thing I have to tell you is goes very fast, very fast. You don't realize, and poof, they are 25. So goes very, very fast. But was a challenge. I mean, it was a challenge to uh, the, being in a place that it's not your language, it's not your culture, it's not even your sports. So it was difficult, but I wouldn't say I have a big surprise on anything. I enjoy every step of the way, let's say, and that's the recommendation for everybody. I mean, enjoy every step along the way because it's not coming back. But I was lucky. I have 3 beautiful kids, fantastic behavior. They help us out in everything they could. And don't forget, we are in a way some kind of ignorance, let's say. We are living in a place where we don't have past. So you are talking about universities. School. I never been there here. I don't know how it is. I don't know how it works. I don't know how it's add to all that I graduated 40 years ago. So it's a completely different story. Was not smartphones, was not even mobile phones, was not the first computers were just coming out. The first coding languages, like at the time was Fortran 4, was just coming out. So I always tell them when I was a kid, first of all, the TV was black and white. And when we need to change a channel, you have to wake up and change by hand the channel. And sometimes the antenna was there, and you have to move the antenna to get a good signal to catch the 4 channels that we have at the time. So, but all in all, we have a very good family, and then kids they did great here. They are trilinguals. They speak the English, Spanish, French, and they did themselves because we couldn't help, honestly. I mean, very little what we've been able to help at school, homeworks, very little. Not even, I mean, the 3 of them, they play hockey on ice, and we couldn't even give any advice on how to play or something, but I never had a skate in myself. So, but no, again, no regrets. Everything was good.
I was going to say, there can't be too many Argentinian ice rinks.
No, I think this one. I think there is only
one or two.
one or two. Yeah, but not obviously not popular sport at all.
Yes, no, for sure. And Michael, kind of being in that 20-something generation, what do you see kind of around your age group with friends as it relates to Bitcoin? Are they interested? Are they not? How do you see that kind of from your side of the view?
I think early adoption Bitcoin was exciting because there was 10x, 100x to go. So that made it that it was attractive because it was, buy low, sell high, bing bang, we're out, and we made a lot of money. People my age are still coming to terms with what Bitcoin can be. Definitely with what it is. Takes a lot of learning. It's still, we have great educators, but it's still not at the point where we've reached a mainstream audience. So until everyone sort of crashes and learns for themselves in a way when they need Bitcoin, that will be the big shift. I still think there's a long way to go. There could be a lot more adoption, and then people are getting more and more interested. I know we as a company have sponsored some teams here and there and tried to get more people into it, but still a long way to go in terms of that. But when I can discuss with my friends or when they ask, I'm always happy to indulge in any conversation about it and try to get them to learn. But at some point, it's still very technical, and you need a certain amount of disposable income to get into it. And I still think my generation is probably maybe, my age group is still maybe 5 years away from getting to that point.
Well said. And, hopefully those that are interested and have the ability, they'll go down that path and can help the next generation. But like you said, once they become interested, that's the key. It's hard to force the people. And kind of as you guys think about, you've built your Bitcoin family business, if there are people out there listening who are interested in doing the same, what are some of the tips you would give them to be able to make that a successful thing?
Not easy. First thing, as we always say, study Bitcoin. I mean, you have to study something to understand what Bitcoin is, or what the significance of all this. Then there is a technical part to implement in your business, either in the accounting or on the payment processors to be able to accept Bitcoin. But you can always find out a lot of help into the community. I mean, these days way more easier than 4 or 5 years ago. I mean, there is a lot of companies, there is a lot of consulting companies, mentors. You have Bitcoin mentors from BTC sessions. They're going to give you a hand, whatever you need. I mean, how to implement, how to put your self-custody, wallet, multi-sig if you need, whatever setup you need or you want. But you have to study, and you have to want it. You need to have the desire to go that way. And for that, you have to study Bitcoin. I understand the importance and why. Forget about any philosophical or economical, macroeconomical reason why it's convenient for you, why you need Bitcoin, why Bitcoin is good for you, why it's going to protect you, your savings, your money. So it's a process, but I would say the most important thing is that interest, that they have to have that interest or advantage of convenience to adopt Bitcoin. They have to see that it's a better system. They have to understand the advantages to have Bitcoin in your company. That's the key. That's the key. It's once you understand, as we say, once you see it, you can't unsee it. As you see it, you will want it.
Just to add to that, for me, it was be prepared to get it wrong. Installation isn't always, easy peasy. So there's going to be new tech that comes and changes how you have to do things. Accounting is going to be more difficult. Everything, you have to add a layer of difficult. So be prepared to get it wrong, ask for help, and learn how to do it. Because you grow through trial, so you have to be prepared that it might not come out the first time like you want it, and rework it until you get it to a point that you're happy.
Very nice. Well, before we move on to the final two questions here, I'll remind everybody that they're welcome to use code BFF Show for 10% off anything at Shamri.com. So feel free to head over there, and happy to send you guys books, games, anything else for those kiddos in your family. And we will wrap things up here with those same final two questions. The first being, a common saying in the Bitcoin space is Bitcoin is time. Another belief is that time is the scarcest asset the world has ever created. So playing off of all that, what is the biggest gift of time that learning about Bitcoin has provided your family?
For sure. I mean, the amount of extra time I got to spend with my parents, getting to be part of it, and the journey is unpayable. Doesn't matter how many Bitcoin someone can come and offer me tomorrow. You can't trade that for anything, whether it's Bitcoin conference trips or trips that we got to take because we got into Bitcoin and we learned about the scarcity of time and to make these trips and these memories happen. I think, no regrets in terms of that, and just getting to spend that extra time, unpayable.
Anything on your end, Pablo?
No, agree. Everything what he said. I mean, I will say probably, if you guys not listening, Bitcoin is one of the most important things that happened in my life. I mean, so yes, it changed. As we said, I mean, you don't change Bitcoin, Bitcoin changes you.
We'll make sure that Sylvia,
No,
the mute goes on for that part.
erase this part of the video. Just
Never happened. Okay, the final question. If you had one Bitcoin to give each of your kids, or I guess in your case, Michael, your future kids, at what age would you give them the keys and why?
well, I will give them the keys as soon as they understand Bitcoin and they know the importance of the keys, not to lose the keys, and I'm gonna be confident that they are not going to lose the keys. Could be anywhere in between, I don't know, 15 maybe and up. Always supervised by the father. I think every kid is different, right? So if you see they are responsible and they take it seriously, you can get it at any moment that you feel confident that you can do that. And if they are irresponsible, then it's a risk always when they're gonna be 20, 30, or 40. So, but yes, I would love to my kids to have as many Bitcoin as they can.
I think on my end, it's going back to what I just said about that last answer, making sure that obviously I agree with everything my dad said, but making sure that they can both enjoy it with myself, if that were the case, or later on down the line with their own families. And Bitcoin on its own is great. Bitcoin combined with memories or adventures or something that you'll be able to tell around the dinner table is much, much better.
That's a perfect final quote from this episode, I think. So nice bow on that one, Michael. So that's a wrap. Thanks everybody for being here, watching, listening, and supporting this show. I will be sure to link to Panties for Bitcoin in the show notes. Go follow them. Go buy some awesome panties for yourself, for your wife, for your husband, whoever it may be. Any other places or shout outs you guys want to give before we sign off?
Keep learning, and thank you for having us. It's always great to talk to some of our friends, and hopefully we get to see each other in person soon.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks again for being here, Pablo and Michael. We will see you guys soon and talk to everybody next week. Bye.
Hi, thanks for joining. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a good review. And buy your kids some stuff at Sawmary.com today. Bye. Bye.